160 The Life of Prayer. Presence of God, O Lord, grant that I may seek you, not only at certain moments during the day, but also at every instant of my life. Meditation. 1. A soul who longs for a life of intimacy with God is not satisfied to limit its relations with Him to the time of prayer, but tries to extend them throughout the whole day. This is a rightful desire. For one who loves tries to prolong continuously his relations with the Beloved. This is true, therefore, of a soul who loves God, and its desire is the more easily realized, since God Himself is always with us. He is always present and working in us. We are treating, it is true, of a presence which is spiritual and invisible. It is, however, real and not merely affective and moral, as is the presence of a loved one in the heart and mind of a lover. If God is always with us, why can we not be always in continual contact with Him? This contact is realized by thought and love, but much more by the latter than by the former. In fact, it is impossible to be always thinking of God, partly because the mind becomes tired, and partly because our many occupations demand all the application of our intellect, which cannot pay attention to two different things at the same time. The heart, on the other hand, can always love, even when the mind is busy elsewhere, and it never grows weary of tending toward the object of its love. Since supernatural love does not consist in sentiment, but in an intimate orientation of the will toward God, we know that this turning is possible even during the performance of duties which absorb all our attention. The will can strengthen this orientation of itself toward God precisely by the desire to fulfill each duty for love of Him, to please Him, and give glory to Him. St. Thomas says that the heart can always tend Godward by the desire of charity, that is, by the desire to love Him, to serve Him, and to be united to Him in every action. Prayer is nothing but a desire of the heart. If your desire is continuous, your prayer is continuous. Do you wish never to cease praying? Then never cease desiring. St. Augustine. 2. Since prayer does not consist in thinking much, but in loving much, a life of continual prayer will consist much more in love than in thought. Nevertheless, a certain amount of mental activity is necessary, either to direct the heart toward God, or to maintain it in this direction. The soul who applies itself well to mental prayer will easily be able to collect in itself some good thoughts which it can use during the day to keep its heart turned toward God. Therefore, it will be useful for the soul to try to recall these thoughts often in the midst of its occupations, and to apply them practically to its life. Thus, for example, if during prayer we have been considering God's infinite mercy toward us, we shall strive to preserve this thought even during our occupations, recognizing many signs of this mercy in the various circumstances in which we find ourselves. In fact, many happenings which, from a purely human point of view, are unpleasant and painful, hide, in reality, great mercies of the Lord, who, by means of the sorrows, fatigues, and the trials of life, wants to detach us from creatures, make us practice virtue, and advance in goodness. Likewise, in our dealings with our neighbor, we shall try to imitate God's mercy. Be ye therefore merciful, as your Father also is merciful. Luke 6, 36. Although our prayer was spent in aridity, without leaving us any definite thought, but only a deeper realization of our nothingness, and the infinite greatness of God, we shall make a treasure of it by attempting during the day to fulfill our duties, in a spirit of humility and homage to God. We shall rejoice if some opportunity occurs for humbling ourselves, acknowledging our littleness even before creatures, and exalting the grandeurs of the Lord. In this way prayer will not be an isolated item in our day, but will permeate it, by conferring on each action and circumstance the tone of continual prayer. Colloquy. O Lord, grant that my life may be the continual prayer to which every rational creature is bound. This prayer has its origin in love, it is fire and true desire based on charity, which forces the soul to perform all its acts for love of you. Awaken charity in me, O Lord, so that I may always desire you, and always desiring, continually pray. Let my soul pray always in your presence everywhere, at all times, in everything I do. By the affection of charity compare Saint Catherine of Siena. O my God, if I were inebriated with love for you, I should seek in all creatures only a means of serving you more diligently and more perfectly, and by renouncing my own will in everything, and for everything, I should force myself, in an outburst of love, to do henceforth only what will be more pleasing to you. Give me, O Lord, such great fervor and immense love, that I shall see no difference between this or that life, this or that state, person, time, or place, but shall do what is most pleasing to you, whatever or wherever it may be, tending always to you, by the affection of my soul. Grant that I may see all things in you, and nothing but you, in them, eager and anxious to serve you in all things, and that, all on fire and burning with love, I may not take into consideration what is easiest and most agreeable for me, but only what is most pleasing to you. Grant, O Lord, that I may imitate the angelic spirits, who, although they are with us, never interrupt their divine contemplation. May I treat and serve my brethren by seeing and enjoying you in them, and may I always assist my neighbor, offering my heart to you. If he should ever depart from this noble exercise, help me to return to it at once by doing all that is within my power to succeed, so that, with your divine help, I may always live with my heart centered on you. Compare Saint Bonaventure,